Doc Slab Audio on music production and audio engineering. Welcome to Doc Slab Audio and our Insight series. I do believe this is the 36th video in our Insight series, and in this video we want to talk about Get That Sound. So basically, I don't want to make this video really complicated, but I was having some revisits of some things I was dealing with when I've been doing some playing here on my own and just exploring around creative content and creativity. And I came upon a concept tonight that's probably been talked about a lot and gone over a lot, but the simple thing about Get That Sound. So the issue here is, when I hear a lot of these productions, I'm going, okay, now when you put a band together, you're going to find a drummer and he's going to have this sound. He is going to fine tune himself till he gets this sound. And then basically that sound gets filed, right? To where it comes out that sound every time. And he might do it differently or have some different sounds he works on, but he has a list of sounds that he goes to that are very well developed for any production he might be working in. So that goes for every musician in the band and for the band as a whole and their individual components, whatever they're doing. So the power there is the realization of what that is, to where that if you're trying to find, you're doing EDM or something, and you're trying to find this drum sound, or this synth sound, or this vocal sound, or this bass sound, or any sound, the time you spend there is invaluable. So that when you get these tracks done, that each component has exactly that sound you were looking for. And so that all of them are well crafted individual components of your entire production. And that concept is monumental in getting a good sounding production. And no matter how much time you spend in the composition, and no matter how much time you spend in the engineering, if that aspect isn't done as well as possible, there's a really good chance it's going to be subpar. And it's not going to ever come out sounding like that top-notch production that you want. And it's huge. Not only is that a huge element, but it also makes the other two sides of it there with the engineering and the composition. It'll help you to make the production phases that those are much better, because you understand those areas have to be dealt with the same way on each individual element. So that when you have all these individual elements done and you've got these great tracks that you have of that composition done, and you go in there fine tuning it just a little bit in the engineering area, is not going to be near as much work. And when you start doing spatialization and moving things around so that they have their own space, so that one thing isn't sitting on top of another or blurring something else out or sucking the life, the guitar's riding on top of the bass and I can't hear the bass, or I can't hear the synth, or I can't hear the vocalist, or I can't hear the choir section or the harmonies behind there, that you're going to be that much more picky about getting them separated in their own space because of the finely crafted work that's been done on them. And it'll be that much important. And on top of it, when you start blending things together, you will find that as you start going, well, that bass sound was just what it needed, and that's just the way I wanted it. But at this one section, the trombone and the synth patch and the bass and the vocals go ba-da-da, and for some reason it's got too much bass, or it's got a little bit too much twang, or it's got a little bit of something, and you get in there and see that every moment in time matters to where you did, and it's cracked and beautiful. But at this one little break or something that you're going in there with the EQ and doing automation and going right there, I'm just gonna tap down up around 500 hertz there for that bass line right there, because in the mix there for that, it's drowning something else out. It's not letting something else breathe. By itself, it's great, but at this part, when I mix these certain instruments together, then I have to do just a little bit of work on those really great sounds as they're working together. The bass drum goes doof, and the tom goes doof, 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 something like that. But when it hits that together, doof, ba da ba, or whatever, da 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 da, that you sit there and go, yeah, but when that happens, why does it not sound quite right there? Is it the bass? Is it the organ? Is it the synth? Is it the vocalist? What do I need to adjust just a little bit? What's got maybe a little bit too much reverb, or the EQ isn't right, or it's got too much something, or too much twang, or some aspect of the sound isn't blending with something else, and you start going back and going, well, the kick drum and the brass, bam, no, that sounds okay, but I had the chorus in there, bam, yeah, that sounds okay, but then the bass, pop, twang, no, bro, right there, that bass, I need to boost up a little bit right there, or subtract a little bit, or it's got a little bit too much reverb or something, and then, bam, bam, oh yeah, dude, right there, dude. And it's huge because it just kind of multiplies throughout the production, so that it's really becomes one of those things that helps you really define each individual instrument and get that sound. And once you got that sound, when things are working together, that you really start looking at every moment in time, that you understand those other concepts, so that it all comes together at every moment through every section, in the verse, the chorus, the bridge, the breaks, every part of a break, wherever that you catch it, and you go, well, yeah, but right there, no, I got to do something there to some instrument to make this come out sounding great. It might be just a volume thing, it might be a spatialization thing, it might be an EQ thing, it might be a reverberation thing, it might be a delay thing, da 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 da. But you start looking for it, and you become a better musician, you become a better producer, you become a better composer as this starts to really become part of the biosphere that you take into consideration, in the ecosystem of everything that's happening. I'm sorry, I'm using that. I'm into biology right now at the university, so I'm using biological words for some reason. But anyway, I just wanted to make a video of that this month and kind of kick that at you and really get you thinking about that, because as you get those sounds, you file them away and really make really good notes, on my kick drum, on my snare, on my tom, on my bass, on my guitar, on my vocals, that it's just laid out. And if you're going to change up on something, you make, maybe a list of things for different, like if you get synth patches, there's different synth patches, there's different variations of them that are well categorized, and don't get lost in it. To where you got 5 bazillion different kick drums, for what you're trying to do right now is probably ridiculous. Where you could be really focusing on the performances, the compositions, and the engineering. Does that make sense? And it's really, unless you're like, a session player or something, then you probably got your work cut out for you, because that's sometimes a tough job. So, it just is, because you just got to wear so many different hats, So if you're there, well, you got some climbing to do. So, but anyway, I hope that makes sense, and I certainly hope he gets you thinking about that this month. And peace, soul, love. I certainly hope you enjoyed this video in our Inside series, and I'll see you in the next video.